That's right. It is Venus Jones and Venus. I'm not going to lie. This looks pretty amazing. It is something that everybody's going, wait, what? And you can go check it out, lilredmovie.com. Lil Red is writing the wrong. Hold up. What's happening with Red?
Oh, Lil Red is riding the wrong way in the hood.
That makes sense, man. He right anyway in the hood. You get right. All right. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Venus. Obviously, this looks fun. It looks amazing. It looks great. And Venus, I know you got a lot of things going on, but let's talk about this. What made it? As they say, because sometimes people don't understand everything that gets there to get it made.
Great question, Aaron. Thank you first and foremost for just having me on your amazing show and just for taking the time to make us feel welcome before we even show up to La Femme. And I'm just so grateful.
Yeah, well, we're grateful. We're grateful that you're here, and we love everything Hollywood. Is in the name, Hollywood Live Today. Go check it out. We have a website too. It's HollywoodLiveToday.com. Anyway, Venus, this is something that I don't think people understand. Unless you're, as they say, from the hood. But the hood sometimes is a good place to go, and sometimes it's just not. And people they don't get it, right? But let's talk about that.
Yeah. Well, first, your first question, how long did it take? Well, I started writing the script because I wrote it, I produced it, I directed it, and I narrated this short. It's an 8-minute short, but it took 10 months in production. And I feel like it's still like a snowball that's rolling. So I'm still working with Lil Red, and I'm so happy to be doing that because it's a when you think about the hood, to your point, I started writing this thinking like around 2020 during the pandemic, but then I wanted to write something, I was working with Storyteller Academy and I was working with some of my peers and just trying to get the story special. I have a friend named Christy Wright, who's an amazing mentor and co-writer. Well, not co-writer, but just a fellow writer. And she was like, well, I like what you're doing here. You talk about the hood, but everybody doesn't know what the hood is. Well, this is a hip hop twist on a cautionary tale. We know what Lil Red Riding Hood normally looks like. She normally looks like a little white girl, but I turned her into a little black boy because in some neighborhoods, some of the most vulnerable people actually are Black and brown kids. So I thought, given the stats with trafficking and with child labor issues, I just really wanted to talk about it and use hip hop. So I said, well, how can I be universal? I used hip hop. This is the 50th year of hip hop, but this is not just an entertaining animation that's set to a hip hop beat. It's an educational tool to help parents and educators at a critical age, even though this is a story that's important and about trust that anybody at all ages could talk about. But yes, all of our hoods need to be safe, but they're not always safe.
And they're less safe right now.
They're not always safe, and we have to tell the kids the truth.
Yeah, I had a morning show. Somebody took it, but whatever. But we would cover all kinds of things, and I didn't want to, but it was all like in the area. People don't understand. People get shot. I literally drove through, as you would say, the hood. People. I don't want to say what it is, but over here, it's. I'm not going to say it because they'll see me and they say, we understand. You think you know what it's like in the hood. And I go, I don't know what it's like, but I don't want to be here because it's not safe anymore. It was safe. I would say, because I used to actually I used to be a salesperson and I used to go to some of these areas and I was like, oh, it's safe during the day. And then during the night you go, wait a minute. But I'm like, whatever. They understand. I'm Latin, big deal. So now if you're like another, they go, why are you here? But now everybody's shooting everyone and they're rolling over others like literally in the street. What's going on?
Well, one might say that's America, right? We can't go anywhere. So all of America is the hood. Or somebody wrote a song said, the world is a ghetto. I was like, I don't know, because when we say the word hood, it means so much. But when we think about Lil Red Riding Hood, we were just thinking about, oh, well, we're talking about the hood, that you put on your head. But then you think about Trayvon Martin, and hood has so much connotation now. But I was like, what do I do with this?
And usually, and I've talked to some people.
You're right.
And they're like no longer in the hood, but they go, I don't want to go back to the hood. I wanted to get out. And
Yeah.
that's what it really is about. How do we get out from that? And then if we can, although it's so difficult because, you know, there's so much stuff there that you go, okay, how do we get it next level? Because here's what I say. And we've had so many stories here. We've had so many shootings. We've had so many, like, you know,
So
and I get the protest. I totally get that. Like cops, you need to, like, you know what I mean? Because you would die in the hood. That's what I would say. Because you're not ready for that. But people from the hood, all right. Okay, perfect example. Ice Cube, right? Ice Cube, no
mm.
hood, right? You know, there's some that they go, man, you don't know hood, and then you know it. You go, oh.
Right, you don't know hood.
Yeah. So I would say get him in on this. He'll be like, I'll do it really good, and then you do like a really good animated. You know what I mean? With Lil Red Right Hood. And then
Oh wow, that would be a dream to get Ice Cube to you know, because he's gonna keep it. He's gonna keep it real. And he's gonna keep it street, and sometimes street is hood. It's for me. This really is about more than just gun violence, which is what we sometimes think about when we think about going the wrong way in the hood. This is really about Little Red's bike getting stolen by a high hustling wolf in sheep's clothing, right?
yeah,
And it becomes a battle of wits because the main character, one of the main characters, is his grandma, and she's very street smart, but of course the person that she's battling is not aware of that. So again, it's about teaching kids with, you know, so much at a younger age about betrayal, about trust, about how to be observant, and what happens if you get lost and you don't have a phone, no matter where you are in whatever neighborhood, right? What happens when you run into someone and you don't know who they are and they're not who they say they are? So this
that's
is
Hollywood.
this is yes, this is the tale, the cautionary tale with the hip hop twist, and it's really it's so needed right now, and I've been hearing a lot of people praise it. It's already won best animation in Portugal. I haven't even had my world premiere yet, but it's doing very well. It's been picked up by a lot of different festivals already. It's made quarterfinalist in Canada, and and I haven't even premiered it here in my own hood, my own backyard, which is America. So I'm doing my best to get it out. I'm super excited to be able to be among so many female filmmakers, and having it be one of my first official releases being in Hollywood. Okay. So I'm excited about it.
It's a little hood. It's not as hood as hood. I've been to hood. All right, I've been to hood. Seriously, and
yeah,
I
you know
like,
what I did? I created my own urban dictionary for this too, because I wanted to make sure that we're culturally responsible with this piece. Because some of the language that I'm using, some people might not get. But what I love is that hip hop is universal, though.
Yeah.
And that's why I chose it as a vehicle to educate and to entertain.
Well, and I'm glad you said that. And I guarantee it. Hood people are like, I don't care about, you know, education. I care about getting out of the hood, right? Because you get stuck in the hood. I know people that have like, and usually it's something like it, because not gonna lie, and I said this to someone, and they said, you know, I'm about that now. I get that. And now they're promoting it all around because they're a celebrity. But they said, look, I don't think people understand what it's like. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, it's simple. Right, like people when you're in the hood, they don't understand. You guys do what's in because you are all rich. I go, yeah, but of course they're rich. He goes, yeah, but you don't understand. What they are is they don't want to help us because they never want to say it. You are poor in the hood. You know what I mean?
Po people.
Yeah, poor people in the hood. That's why hood, I say. But then I say, look, they survive, so they're really good at surviving, right? And they know how to survive, so they will shoot you before you shoot them because everybody has a gun in the hood. That's how you know you're in the hood. Now, if you're not in the hood, no one has a gun, but even grandma has a gun.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, I think if you do something with this, keep it going with Lil Red Riding Hood, but have grandma have like a gun at some point. Where she,
because you know, in the original tale, the grandma gets eaten.
Yeah, but this one, she shoot the hood member. She goes, no, I'm
eaten.
about that. You know what I mean?
I'm going to tell you, maybe that's a spoiler alert, but she doesn't get eaten in this.
Because she hood. Hood people understand hood people. Hood people understand hood. You know what I mean? Right. You understand hood. So there you go. That's the answer. Anyway.
So yeah, I mean, again, just because you're poor doesn't mean you're not smart. And sometimes the more you're aware of what happens in every neighborhood, you can be more aware and you could teach children how it's important to have not just book knowledge, but to have street knowledge and to know the difference between, taking things at face value, but also starting at an early age to be a critical thinker, and how life-saving that can be. You can make one wrong move and end up in a situation that, as they call it, a trap.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You can end up in a trap, and trap life is not fun, even though sometimes people make it seem fun, but it's not. It's literally, you're in a trap, and it's hard to get out of it when you've been trapped by a hustler. No matter where they live, no matter their color, their creed, there's hustlers out here. And we just want kids to know early about what that looks like and have that conversation.
Yes. I'm glad you said that. Thank you for that, because again, they survived. They say it. We survived, man. And I say, yeah, but you guys survive and then get out of the hood, because the hood, the hood. It does a lot of people in. It does them in financially. It does them in with ideas, because they want to get out of the hood. That's why a lot, like Straight Outta Compton, perfect example. Straight Outta Compton, they would say, well, like they don't want it out there, but it really is. Tupac, perfect example. Tupac. Now they're going, well, did that guy do it? And
I know, right? That's in the news right now still.
Yeah, but people forget. People get shot. Sometimes who they know, what they know, and then who they don't know someone, and then they want to do them in, and so that information come in. But and I say,
thank you, Aaron. Yeah, because it's so important, because that's the real another question in I have a discussion guide that goes with this. It's like, how do you get people to talk about trust when they already are untrusting of the people who are supposed to save them, whether it be the police or they're not trusting of the people who are near them, and they don't know who to trust. I
don't trust the police. You know what you need to do? Here's the simple solution. The only way to trust, when you don't trust, because some people don't even trust their family members, man.
Right,
Grandma could be shady, you know what I mean? And you're like, I don't trust you. You know what I mean? I think you like that guy. But the point is this. I think they need to hire people from the hood to basically patrol the hood in a way, and then monitor that, because sometimes they have, like, people don't want to say it, but it's true. They have guns and they have the hookup for, like, training day. Perfect example. Denzel is about that.
That was a good example. Yeah.
Yeah, Denzel's about that, and that's on the block in the hood. It really is like that. Like, seriously, I went there recently.
Can't always, because sometimes it's one of the biggest misconceptions is that, and this is what was scary for me to have this conversation, because it's very it was tough for me to make Lil Red a Black boy, because that's something we haven't seen before, but reminding people that little Black boys are vulnerable, right? And yes, we don't see them as this innocent person who can get lost in an urban jungle or in the woods, but it starts with the little boys, and sometimes we just think only the little girls need to be protected. But that's why I wanted to make him, but also reminding people that all skin folk ain't kinfolk either. Just like you said, training day was another example of that. But it's important to remember what's more important to remember is what we're going to do to stay safe. Because this even when I was writing this film, even after the animation was created, and I want to give a shout out to my animator, Matei Emmanuel, this is an international project, because I worked with him and found him on Upwork. And when I saw the vision, I was like, oh my God, this matches exactly what I was looking for. His work, his art, some of his art. And that's why I reached out to him. And they have the same similar situation there in Kenya. And all around the world, there's places where we can go, and we don't necessarily know if the people are there really for us. But this is why, again, we have to have these conversations, and I'm excited about leading it. But it was scary. It was scary telling this whole truth, because it's never easy to talk about people devouring their own, or people that look like them. But I think it's time for us to all be completely responsible about talking about the dangers of capitalism being the real evil of people doing and asking kids at an earlier age, what would you do anything and everything for money?
That's the thing. I know we're out of time. But since I got the logo ABC, I say responsible. Okay, responsible. And here's how I say it. It's very simple. They say money does in the streets, and in a way it does. And here's how. They don't invest in it. Okay, they don't invest in it. They basically let them kind of, in a way, just and they say, well, do community. And I say that doesn't help because everybody's bored about community.
Yeah.
But what you do is you invest, and then you make it go next level with you hire from within. You just got to kind of do a background check a lot. And then they'll patrol. And then the kids go, I trust you because you're from here. He goes, yeah, I'm from here. But trust me,
I watched a movie, Aaron. I watched a movie called Reimagining Safety. That's what I was trying to say. And that made me change the last line of this film, even while I was making it.
Oh.
In this, because I was like, so that's when this film became not just about trust and betrayal, but also about reimagining safety, to your point. What does it look like when we control our own hoods? What does it look like?
Because the cops are just
right. So my ending is a lot more speculative, and I hope it opens up the conversation. But I'm also hoping that we will continue the conversation.
What we do,
right? And just continue to remind ourselves of what's the difference between hardcore capitalism and people just always putting profit over people.
You know what they do? They build on top of people that, like, come on, New York is a perfect example. A lot of those places that are big now was the hood. Now it's like revamped. But they're doing it here.
One more thing I wanted to say, Aaron, because you were making me think about plants. I just saw this quote. When we're looking at plants, if a plant's not doing well, you don't say there's something wrong with this plant, let me throw it out. You change the conditions of what it's growing in.
Oh, I like that.
You
put it with other plants that are like, will help it, right?
You
I'm
say,
telling you,
right.
The out of Compton people need to do this.
Maybe this plant needs a little more light.
Yeah. Who are the people in I? We need to do that. All right. I know Ice knows a bunch of them. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we got to go, but we're out of time. But thank you so very much for spending time with us. Again, it's all there. You can check out La Femme. Get your tickets right now. Great subject. I know it's a short, but you got stuff there. Okay, keep it going. Keep it going. We'll be back right after this.